Today I got a question from a student about how to stay on track, how to stay on task as far as the PMP exam is concerned, how to stay focused, how to stay on schedule. And I wanted to answer that question for you today by giving you some insights and some ideas, some understanding. So what I would recommend first and foremost is to study to a schedule. You got to study to a rhythm. You cannot be all over the place. You know, if you don't have a schedule, a pattern, and a rhythm, you're going to run into trouble as you study. You're going to be all over the place. My advice to you would be to really craft a realistic schedule. I would call it a SMART schedule. You want to make your studying specific. You want to make it measurable, make it achievable, something that you know you truly can do, make it realistic, and put it into a time frame, a time box. For example, if you're dealing with a chapter such as integration or risk or cost, you could say within the first week of studying, I should have done everything in integration. In other words, all the 7 processes. That's how you need to approach the subject matter, with intentionality, but you got to time box it. Now, the problem with a lot of people is they study at random. They don't have a set target of what they're going to study today. They don't know. You ask them, what are you going to study? They haven't even thought about it. So what you need to do up front is give yourself some time to think about what you're going to study first, and then next, and then next. I'll give you some ideas about how to stay on track with a study plan. A study plan could be studying by knowledge area, as I said, and studying Agile, you see, because knowledge areas are generally thought about in the predictive world, right? So in the world of predictive, we have knowledge areas. But in the world of Agile, we could also look at work through the lens of knowledge areas, but it's not well organized enough for it to be by knowledge area for the entire Agile domain. So what I suggest is go in knowledge area by knowledge area, and there are 10 knowledge areas. That could take 10 days, for example. And then you have the concept of Agile, which is huge. There are many different facets of Agile, but you can break Agile down into the manifesto, the types of Agile. In other words, you got iteration-based Agile and flow-based Agile. So know those well. Understand Scrum as the most widely used framework in this world. And understand Kanban. And you can give yourself a week for Agile. So 10 days for predictive, 5 days for Agile. That's one way you can stay on task, you know, because if you don't do things like that, then you end up thrashing and not hitting anything in particular. It just becomes a free-for-all, a crazy fest. You know, for me, when I was getting ready for my exam, I spent time knowledge area by knowledge area. And I did iterations of knowledge area. I would go over knowledge area again and again and again and again. And that's how I got good, to the point that I knew the processes inside out. It wasn't that I crammed them, but I really understood them really well. So in my mind, if you're spending 2 to 3 hours a day studying each knowledge area, you should get good with them pretty quick. So integration has 7 processes. If you divide 3 hours by 7, that's 180 minutes by 7. You're looking at about 20 minutes plus for each process. That's more than enough for a process, my friends. That's a lot of time for just one process. So if you're spending like 3 hours a day on knowledge areas and you're done in 2 weeks, that should sustain what you need. And for Agile, again, if you're following the pattern I asked you, it shouldn't be that hard to stay on track. Think about it again. You got the manifesto values and principles. You got the types of Agile, iterative-based Agile or iteration-based Agile and flow-based Agile. You got the practices, and then you've got Scrum, and you've got Kanban, and everything else which isn't as huge on the exam anyway. And that's it. That's it. You could read the Agile Practice Guide completely. You could read the Scrum Guide completely. I would also suggest that. And you could also read, of course, our book. This one, right? This one. Pmp Exam Immersion. You could read that as well. Make sure you focus on Roy's Agile Thinking Cap in the Immersion book. It is going to help you. It is really going to solidify your understanding of Agile. Because there are many nooks and crannies in Agile that people actually don't know until your attention is expressly called to it. And that was my journey in Agile. I thought I knew stuff, but it always had a hazy hue because I really didn't know enough. It was always hazy. But when my attention was called to stuff, bit by bit, it became a lot clearer. So spend some time going through, the different materials. Scrum Guide, Agile Practice Guide, Immersion book. Watch the videos on the learning system. Listen to everything Roy and I are telling you in those videos. And you're going to get Agile down pat. Those roles on page 41 of the Agile Practice Guide, PMI can run circles around you if you don't know those roles well. So my advice is to really hone in on what the roles of the Scrum Master, the Product Owner, and the team are, the developers, if you will. If you open up the Scrum Guide, which you can get at scrumguides.org, you're going to be able to go pretty deep into the specific roles. I also have videos on the Praizion channel that breaks down the Agile, the myth about Scrum into 17 videos. So again, if I were you, I'd go to the YouTube Praizion channel and spend some time listening to the Scrum Guide on audio and watch the audio visuals, follow them close any gaps or misconceptions that you might have about Scrum. It's really going to help you in your prep as it's helped so many other students. Alright, so I hope this gave you some insights to my friend who asked the question, how do I stay on task? How do I stay on task? How do I stay focused? That's it. The other piece that I would recommend that you add to this is the concept of the PMP exam content outline. And the content outline has got 35 tasks. You need to be totally clear on all these 35 tasks, like crystal clear. Being crystal clear on what the PMI wants you to do is really going to help you. All right? Okay, my friend. I hope this gave you insights, and I hope this helps direct your study. You take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. want to go off. Bye, bye, bye.